I think we were trying to recall and live the mindset of Mary Aikenhead, who was so practical and whose stated aim in, for example, establishing St Vincent's Hospital was so that the poor could have for love what the rich had for money. And we realised that we don't have an absolute monopoly on ideas. Lots of people out there had ideas that we felt were totally in line with our charism. They mightn't talk about the love of Christ, but essentially the love of Christ was impelling them and is impelling them to bring up solutions that meet the real needs of the poor.
I see them through the foundation reaching out to people who may not have a voice, who are marginalised, who don't even know where to turn to help, and in many instances think that they're not even worth worrying about. And they're the very people that the sisters are so wonderful to.
The Sisters of Charity established the foundation to enable us to provide support and financial assistance to those community organisations which were working with the poor and the marginalised, in particular small community organisations which otherwise would have found it very difficult to obtain support.
So I spent 12 months talking to schools all over Queensland, teachers and school principals and chaplains, and I asked them the question, what is the most important and urgent need of disadvantaged kids? And the answers they came back were practical things. They need shoes, like little shoes like this, and socks. That's going to help these kids get to school when it's raining and cold. It's going to help these kids participate in school sports, help them not miss out on things like school's activities, because of course if they don't have proper shoes, they can't go. The Sisters of Charity Foundation, thanks to their support, there are 200 very, very big smiles out there for kids that have got brand new shoes. And for most of these children, they've never ever owned a pair of brand new shoes ever in their life.
I like to say we're really in the business of increasing confidence and self-esteem in women, and the clothes are a tool we use to do that. Dress for Success is a registered charity, and we provide free interview and work-appropriate clothing for women who are looking for work. Long-term unemployed women, we work with a lot of women coming out of the corrective service system. We also provide clothing for when they get a job, court appearance, or really any important life event where a new outfit will help increase her confidence and self-esteem. When women come and see us, they often won't make eye contact. You can see that there's absolutely none of that confidence there. We recognise the importance of having that suit to make that perfect first impression. We offer women workshops on how to dress for the interviews, how to do their resume. We're able to do this completely free of charge. The money was extremely valuable to us, but the faith that the Sisters of Charity showed in our organisation really meant a lot to our board when we were starting out.
In order to get people with disabilities into employment, it's obviously really important to use technology well, and that really is what Fighting Chance is about. So examples of the sorts of technology that really change the employment space for people with disabilities include an air chair that allows a person to get out of their wheelchair and really sit comfortably and access the computer, a special mouse, a trackable mouse, which allows a person to be able to interact with the computer, through to something like a hoist, which allows a person to access the bathroom facilities.
Hi, my name is Kylie. I love working here at Fighting Chance. With grants such as yours and others have enabled me to use my Liberator Echo, the device I am using now, to communicate with the desktop computer via a Bluetooth and special adaptive mouse.
We're only able to do what we do because we don't get any government support, with the support of so many people, so many philanthropic groups and companies. The Sisters of Charity have been absolutely fantastic in helping Fair Share over the years, and more recently they've seen the need for us to capture that surplus quality food and get it to schools where a relatively high number of kids come from disadvantaged backgrounds.
Just from my experience when I was teaching in the western suburbs, you'd often have children coming to school haven't had breakfast, they don't bring lunch, you can't concentrate, you fade. So some of the schools do breakfast programs so the children can come to school a little bit earlier and they're provided with breakfast that they wouldn't have at home. Some of the schools give the children lunch so that they can see the rest of the day out and learn properly.
So the House of Welcome began just over 10 years ago, and it was a small group of volunteers really responding to a need that they saw in the community for asylum seekers and refugees who'd been released from immigration detention on temporary protection visas. So the Sisters of Charity have been supporting our Safe Place Transitional Housing program for a number of years, and the aim of the program is really to provide shelter and a stable platform for asylum seeker families and individuals who are at risk of homelessness. Asylum seekers can't access any mainstream housing that's available in the community, and so the community support that's provided by the House of Welcome is really very essential.
We want to give the very best to those who need the most. We want this book to go to 120 Aboriginal preschools so they can give it to the mothers and say, hey look, play, fun, Aboriginality, culture, you name it, it's all there. I think people forget the incredible good that for a persecuted people, loving hands, caring hearts, hands outstretched to welcome, joy and play and learning neutralise all those other horrible things that have gone out.
The Foundation is now supporting scholarships to young people to enable them to go to the university. These young people, oftentimes from foster homes, have not had the same benefits that many Australians take for granted. We are giving them the opportunity to further their education, and that will make a difference to the community at large.
When I was born, both of my parents were drug users and had alcohol problems. And I grew up with that until I was about 6, and my dad passed away from a drug overdose. And on my 7th birthday, I was taken away and put into foster care. I always knew that I was going to do things in life, but I just never thought that it would ever be possible. And I always used to dream about coming to uni, and I finished high school and I really wanted to, but I just didn't have the support from anyone.
These young people are sometimes the most disadvantaged in our society, and that's happened to them through no fault of their own. It's part of the lottery of life. And so if we can even that lottery up by helping some of those young people to get some of the good things that the rest of us take for granted, then that's a very, very important thing.
I'm very thankful, and just know that my life has literally changed so much and forever will because of that money that you have given to the scholarship.